How's it going, everybody? Me, Mutahar. And yeah, I'm a little excited to be honest with you because I can finally tell you all, ladies and gentlemen, we got a good Sonic 3D game. I know! Now, ladies and gentlemen, months ago, all right, it's got to be a long time at this point, okay? I made fun of Sonic the Hedgehog, all right? I did. I kept my expectations super low for Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Team was not pulling out banger after banger. Now, you might be like, Muda, all right, why is a man your age getting super excited about Sonic the Hedgehog? I don't know, I like puzzle pieces. You put that one together. Ladies and gentlemen, Sonic the Hedgehog is... The Sonic Frontiers is actually pretty decent. I've been able to play the game a little bit earlier. Thankfully on a good system, not the goddamn Nintendo Switch like some people are. I have been able to play it on like systems that can support higher frame rates, so to speak. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a fine experience. Now, last time we looked at Sonic Frontiers, the world kind of looked a little boring. It kind of looked like Sonic meets Breath of the Wild. But I can be proud to say that the actual final game is quite interesting. Now, because the game hasn't released yet, and I don't want to deal with the army of lawyers that Sonic has, the Sega, I decided to showcase Sonic 06 gameplay. Now, it is a 3D Sonic game. The reason I'm showing Sonic 06 is apparently, even when I'm looking at articles like this one right here, Sonic probably won't be smooching any more humans. You have one furry moment in the fucking franchise, and no one's willing to let go of it, okay? That was like over 15 years ago. Give it a break. Sonic 06 sucked, okay? Sonic Frontiers is not willing to make that mistake again. Now, first thing I got out of starting the game off, it started you off in cyberspace, so you actually get to experience some classic 3D Sonic adventure stuff. Kind of reminded me of Sonic Unleashed, the good parts of that game, so to speak, not the shitty God of War Werehog segments. But, Sonic Frontiers then brings you into an open world, the first section being Kronos Island. And, the open world for the game is pretty interesting. I will say this much, it's kind of like a Ubisoft game meets Sonic, and before you guys immediately turn off the video and run far away like you probably should, it has a bunch of challenges around the game, a lot of puzzles to complete, a lot of puzzles involving you moving the fast blur. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of traversal in the game, a lot of new moves have been added, or a massive, I guess you could say, scope has been put on having like the ability to combine all these movements together. There's a skill tree system, because every modern day game has to have a goddamn skill tree system. Are you even a video game if you don't have skill trees? What's wrong with you? There are XP systems, enemies to find, and the enemies that are present actually have, you actually require the rubbing of two brain cells to fight them. I typically found in the previous Sonic games, as long as a human being had a pulse, you know what I mean? Like they were alive, not totally brain dead, you could complete a Sonic game. But here, you actually have to target them, you have to watch when they're about to hit you, you gotta parry them. There's actual thinking involved. You do need brain activity to play the game. Alongside that, there's some larger enemies in the game too, kind of like Shadow of the Colossus, if you will, as well. And, that's pretty much the best highlights of the game, too. There's an open world to explore, and there's just, every time you finish a challenge or a puzzle, something else builds within the open world, so you're always, doing something new. Now, graphics-wise, okay, I'll straight up say it, it's not going to blow you away, all right? This is not Crysis, it's Sonic, all right? If you walked into this expecting, 4K, ray tracing, some of the bells and whistles out of the best visually breathtaking games out of there, well, you're wrong, okay? You expected wrong. That's like going into a Fast and the Furious movie and expecting a good storyline, all right? Like, at that point, it's not the franchise's fault. It's your fault, okay, for being that mentally incompetent. But of course, I think it does fine. The game doesn't have some crazy issues around it. I haven't seen one frame drop, really. I also haven't seen a lot of loading issues, and while there is pop-in, it's really not annoying to the point where I'm actually going to complain that far about it. I think compared to the last 3D Sonic game that I personally played, Sonic Colors on the Nintendo Switch, the fact that we can get past the loading screen without a crash is already 5 fucking stars to me. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, music-wise, I know a lot of people have been jacking it off on the internet, on Reddit, so to speak. I would like to disagree from that statement. It really feels like there's one music track on loop the whole goddamn time playing the game. I have personally found myself putting on podcasts or YouTube videos or the sounds of car crashes in order to mute out the actual soundtrack because it's just that disengaging. To be fair, I didn't expect the soundtrack for a Sonic game to be good, alright? But yeah, that's about the only big negative that I can offer, alright? This is a good 3D Sonic game. And, that's pretty much where all I'm going to leave it at. Now, do I think it's Game of the Year Sonic material? No, this is way far from Game of the Year, okay? Before anybody goes expecting that, just expect a decent, well-playing Sonic title. There is one downside to this game, too. When you start it off, you definitely feel slow, like Sonic is not as fast as they should be. As you upgrade the game, as you do more challenges, you do build up that speed. So if you're expecting Sonic to go like Mach 5, Autobahn levels of speed when you start off, brothers in Christ, this is an open world 2022 game. They want you to fucking pay your dues before you're actually given all of the tools anyways. Now, the grind isn't too terribly bad, but I feel like that should be mentioned to begin with as well. Now, I know one of the most pivotal questions you all are going to ask me is, Muda, is the plot good? Again, I'm going to go back to the Fast and the Furious statement. I didn't walk into this game expecting the plot to be good. To be honest with you, I've basically been skipping that component entirely. Anytime there is a cutscene, I hold the skip button, because while they're good and everything, I've just never understood the Sonic story. It is what it is. I'm here purely for the gameplay aspect of the stuff, too. But, it's not like the story is just, it's not like the story sucks. I just am not somebody that's super into it. And to be fair with you, I treat this game kind of like Elden Ring as well, too, when it comes to the story. I mostly play this stuff for the gameplay. Whenever there is a story mode to it, I usually skip it, because it's not like it's up there with the ranks of other big story titles like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, that was good. That was a good end there. But ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Frontiers is actually good. I'll tell you right now, it has finally reached the frontier of a good goddamn 3D Sonic game. And listen, I'm a pretty hard guy to impress. If I'm liking it and plenty of other people are liking it, there's probably a pretty goddamn good reason for it. I do genuinely think releasing this right next to God of War Ragnarok might have been a dumb idea from a marketing standpoint. But who am I to complain about that, ladies and gentlemen? All I can say is, for the Sonic fans out there, you finally got a good game. And you know what? Enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen, because the next time you're going to get a Sonic game this good might actually take you a quarter of a century. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.